about to start the tour.
So then, learning right now that I don't know this since last fall. Okay, so it's been a few months. So you won't know. All right. Everything I say is going to be just right. Yeah, it's going to be perfect. But my name is Bruce. I'm going to be your tour guide. I'm going to take you eventually down into an 1845, 1846 lead mine.
Wow.
That's right out our back door. But in Platteville, that's not too surprising. Because if you went out our front door, you would find another mine. If you went down the block there, you'd find 2 or 3 more mines. And if you went out through here, you'd find 60 mines. So Platteville doesn't just have.
Can I record parts of the tour? Can I record parts of the tour?
Whatever you feel like you want to hear again, we'll go right ahead.
All right, cool. Thank you.
I have no objections to it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Are you from Haiti? You're not from Haiti.
No, Madison.
Okay, that's just another site. So
Yeah. Oh.
young men moved to Platteville directly from Haiti. So
Okay. No, I'm not one of those guys. Thank you, though. Yeah.
You're welcome anyway, whether you're from Madison or Haiti.
Yes. Yes.
Where are you folks from?
Well, I'm from Dubuque.
I'm from Central Iowa. Central Iowa. Welcome. Welcome to our museum. Thanks for choosing to spend some of your time with us here today. Like I said, I'm going to take you down into this 1845 lead mine, but like I said, that's not the only lead mine in Platteville that I can take you to. It's not one of hundreds of other mines that are in our upper Mississippi River Valley lead zinc district. Every mineral district in the United States is given a location and a mineral. Ours is upper Mississippi, and it started out as a lead district. In the 1820s, that's what brought the first white people here to this corner of our state, and that was lead. But we weren't the first miners of that lead. Those people were in 1825, 1826, 1827. The Native Americans have been utilizing lead ever since they first came into this area. Evidence now points that that was close to 13,000 years ago, that the first natives came back into our area after all of the ice had receded. The ice age was over, central U.S. was warming up, but for one reason, this area that we're in right now, and Dubuque's on the edge of it, central Iowa is out in the flatlands, they've been glaciated. Changed.
All right. Just doing a lot of learning about lead mining and zinc mining in the state of Wisconsin. All right. Grab a hat. He said. Trusty hat on. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. See if it fits my look. That should be okay. All right. This is the outside area.
I showed you that windlass in there and the powered by man, and as the mines changed over to the zinc mining and run by machines, they changed that windlass into a hoist. And they changed that wooden rope into a steel cable. And the wooden bucket is now an iron pan over there by the tree. So, and this isn't powered by 2 guys anymore, it's powered by some steam. That was introduced probably in the 1890s. And in our district, which they say we're slow to adapt to more modern things as they came in, it was probably used until the 1940s, late 40s in almost all of it. They were still drilling a shaft, and so you had to go up and down. And that's there's another one out in front, and we have another one down there. But it's very basic, very basic. You got a brake to stop something, a clutch to engage and go up, and you got gravity to go down. And that's the brake, wooden blocks. Yep. That was the brake. The one in the hoist house has a foot brake, so it looks like you could use your foot as the brake, because there's pedals, but there's also levers. And he's operating unknown, unseen. He can't see
What's going on down there?
250 EQB chlorine and 250 feet.
Wow.
And he could be in a waste house that's 50 feet off the ground. It's always the tallest in those pictures. It's always the tallest skinny building. That's the waste house. That's where the shaft is. So, but after World War II, again, it came down to just a few big corporations. And there was a push by the government to find more newer deposits of zinc or to somehow extend the knowing location of zinc or something. So they partnered. And they came in and drilled new holes, new exploratory holes to see what was down. Well, they found the biggest deposits. After 75 years of mining, 50 years of mining, they found the biggest deposits. So these new companies came in and sank new mines in. But they didn't want to use that stuff anymore. Again, when we're 150, 200 feet deep, rolling hills, well, why not just blast a hole in the side of the hill and drive a truck? And that's what they did. They drove, that's called an incline now. So they drive trucks down like this. Instead of having a guy in a shovel filling up those ore cans, now you got a power shovel down there, scooping up 5 or 6 ore cans at a time, dropping it directly into a truck that's now going to drive right to the mill and drop it right into the crusher or close to it without any human hands touching anything. Up until that point, you know, you had a guy running that machine, you had a guy down there working, you had a guy on the train, you had the guys with the shovels. Now you got one truck driver, taking a place, 3 or 4 guys. And well, yeah, the truck driver took like 4 jobs out. Yeah. The hand sorters, the hoist man, and all of these things. So we're gonna go in here.
Whoa, that's pretty cool, right? Right?
Yeah, so that's why we could have had 3,000 miners working in at the height of our, say 1950, and maybe a few hundred miners in 1960, and have not that much of a drop off in production.
Yeah.
Going into the mine.
It's only about 46 down the mine. It'll get up into the upper 50s by the time summer comes. We draw air down in, through our mine 24 hours, 365. So we're bringing warm air down and we bring cold air down. And you guys have been this spring, it's not been warm, I'll tell you that. You probably know. Yeah. But we're gonna go down our incline, which is what we call this, because it's not a shaft. We can't drive down there. But this is a major change to our mine. There's 3 of them. This is one of them. The other one is that all of the waste rock that the lead miner left behind, and that was almost everything that wasn't lead that they had displaced. We took that out so we could walk out, not crawl. And the other thing is that we have at the bottom of our step set up this part of our mine with zinc equipment. So you're going to see things like the ore can and the tracks and the tools that don't belong. Historically speaking, this is just a lead mine from 1845 to 1847. But it resembles a zinc mine, and we have a history of zinc mining. And our mission is a mining museum, not just a Bevins lead mine museum. So you get to learn more than you thought.
When I was a kid or teenager, I used to think if I lived during the time where they were mining all the time and anywhere, that I would be a miner. I would put a hat on, I would go down the tunnel, And whatever there was to mine, lead, zinc, whatever. And I didn't care if it was going to be, I could die doing it. I told myself I'd do it. I think I'd do it. So that's why I came. I came here because I believe that it would be a good experience to see what it would be like to go down the tunnel like I was working for a mining company a long time ago. So that's why I came, and I'm really excited to get the one experience that I always thought about and figure that out. I should add, these railings are wet. I don't know why, but they're wet. My hand is wet. But yeah, I'm so excited. This is my life experience of being a miner. It's pretty dope. Here we are. Oh.
It says 48. Wow.
I don't know if I could do that. Work down there.
Oh, well, just stick a candle on your hat and
Then walk around.
And well, I've seen pictures. Mining goes back a long time, and they've been mining in England for thousands, a couple thousand, 3,000 years. And some of these mines just generations
Dripping
and
water.
generations in the same hole. And until the 1880s, when we had these cameras with the big flash, that's the first, they went down into these mines to take pictures. And that was when that flash went off, it was the first time these people had ever been able to see how big the hole actually was. And that's why we don't have any pictures of our mines, our lead mines, because there were no cameras. Exactly. So, I know my sketches and drawings, but by the time the zinc mines come around, we've got all kinds of cameras. So we have such a pictorial history. Well, again, this stuff that you see here is all zinc mining, all zinc mining. But this hole was lead. But this was full of rock. I kid you not, this was full of rock when the mining museum came down here in 1971 and 72. So when they came down here for the very first time, they discovered it. We have all these maps, but we don't know exactly where these mines are, and we don't know how exactly deep they are. We thought there was one on the back there. Eventually, the mine.
The tour guide just
Now,
told us
this
that.
part, while we come into a
Sorry.
lot
I'm
different
not
looking
finished.
lead mine, this is the typical stuff. But this is even, a lot of lead mines were thin and narrow, and they might have went a ways, but this one, they dug and relocated a lot of rock. But when we're standing in here, you can see you can see some really hard rock. And you look across here, how straight and level it's laid down.
That's a layer.
It's just one big, but for some reason, you look right along here, there was some different deposits that did not glue together with the other two
You
deposits.
see the layers today.
Yeah, it's just all the way through there.
Oh,
So you got real hard rocks, you got that layer, you got this stuff above us. So if you take out too much of this, I mean, this is stuff that's loose and rubble. And you could take that pickaxe and chip away that. That's a good thing, because that's where the lead is. The lead's down here. This stuff isn't here. This is it here, laying on the ground, big old chunks of rock that used to be up here. But in reality, I think, talking to the person who cleaned this out, they were working down here a lot. They had this supported. He talks about coming down here in the 1970s, how some of these rocks are still hanging on. So, but it was only here. But they may be small, but they're not that small. So you had to take it down as much as you could, and if you took too much, then you had to be concerned with this. But they could have had, it wouldn't take that many to help pull that out. Like you might have 10 chunks of 4-foot log through there, holding that roof up for you. same with back in here. But they just, our mine is about 200 yards long.
That's 600 feet.
Yeah, yeah. You don't see the end of it there. There's another big opening back there again. This is what the mine looked like. This stuff here. This has been untouched except crawled in. They did not take it off.
You had to be one brave soul.
So when we were working here, I mean, they left enough space to crawl through. But Mr. Bevins had 7 different shafts in this mine. So you weren't carrying that bucket of lead from way over there to the first shaft that he dug, supposedly on this event site. But they displaced a lot of rock. You can see how, to me, it looks like they were standing here and with their pickaxes were going under. But
Yeah.
did they work at it weeks and decide to quit?
Yeah.
When do you quit? Because right over there, they didn't have drills. They didn't come down here knowing what they were going to find. They came, Mr. Bevins dug a 50-foot hole through solid rock, thinking and hoping that he was going to find enough lead to make it worthwhile. And then he spent days down here not finding enough lead to pay for the workers. So he came down here by himself to do it. And his persistence paid off. But there's a lot of them that dug a lot of holes that all they got was a bad back. And most of them, well, like I said, he bought land out there. One of the first people to come here and get that land. And Mr. Bevins wasn't one of those. He came in 1836 to buy. So that's what, it continues more that way. We never leave the campus of our museum.
Yeah.
But right over our heads right there is the street right next to the highway. To it. That's Virgin Avenue. Pretty much where we stop is the sidewalk upstairs. And on this side of the building. So they, but the bigger opening just shows that they were finding enough lead to warrant their digging.
Right.
To some point, to some extent. And how they just kept getting smaller and smaller. And again, that's quite an area to dig out, only that deep. They talk about it could have been 14, 15-year-old guys, kids, also working down, because you don't go to school in 1845, outside of a few grades.
And was mining still a pretty good paying job?
Well,
back then, I think.
Is, if you think $1.25 a day for 10 hours of this is worth it?
Well,
But
not
you got-
today.
But you were getting paid a quarter more than a common laborer did on the surface. And in 1845, that's what these people were.
Yeah.
Mr. Bevins was the guy. These guys were hired on. So he,
$1.25 a day.
$300 and $400 a year. But, you know, their cars didn't cost $50,000.
No.
There's another little piece of lead. I mean, just a little piece of gleam. Just like crazy stuff.
Right.
Right
And they
there,
didn't
that-
have flashlights like that
Oh,
either.
no.
It'd be
they
harder
had
to
candles.
spot, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, very hard. I'm always I marvel at it every time I come down there. We got some guys working here,
Yep.
expanding the initial narrow passageway they established first. And here it just looks like they're marching that way, digging out the side walls. And again, they're in the soft rock, and here it happens to be a lot thicker. We kind of came downhill,
Yeah.
so now they have a little more headspace. There's a spot that, soft spot. Nothing's uniform. Even though it seems it was laid down, think it was all be the same, you can drive 10 miles and see different rock. You go to Mineral Point and they got this real sandy stuff. It's like, oh, how did that get there? The same elevation as us. But see, something like that, they could
So we just finished the downstairs tour.
Oh, boy.
Now we're coming outside to do the outside tour. Wow. it out. I'm in the mirror. Kinda can see it. But yeah, we're doing the outside tour. So all of this entire field, he said, came from down in the mine. There's some. Are those tailings down there?
Pardon?
Are those tailings?
No, those are what you'd call waste rock.
Waste rock.
They're not crushed.
Oh, uncrushed.
They came out of the mine, but they were worthless.
Okay.
So they could tell that they could just, by running through the crusher, they could just throw them away.
Okay.
Right away. Is that wet?
A little bit.
Yeah. I see some water here too. You don't need to get a wet butt.
Alright. Sweet.
Brought it out here for a reason. If I
Wow. Alright. Let's do this. Sweet. Go for a train ride. Let's go. This is pretty cool.
1931 Whitcomb train engine.
1831.
1931.
1931.
It worked until the early 60s, I believe. This is the train engine that had the 7 miles of track.
Oh, sweet.
It weighs 10,000 pounds. It would haul 6 or 7 of those cans at a time. You could push them, has a hitch in the front, pull them. Got a 3-speed forward transmission, 3-speed reverse transmission, because they didn't turn around in the mine and
Yeah.
go back and forth. And they tried to put a shaft more in the middle of a mine so they could go both directions. If you put it in one end, everybody'd have to go. But I don't know how often that happened.
Yeah.
But I think that's what they hoped for.
All right. Take a ride on the train.
Whoops, you're going backwards. 3 wings go backwards. 2 go forward.
He's just ringing this. When I was a kid, growing up, I couldn't. Someone was just telling me to talk about when you were a kid, you were growing up, how you couldn't afford to do this. Now, you got a little bit of energy in your pocket. You can go have a good time, and it's not that expensive. See, check me out, dude. Ah, it's so cool. Look, check it out. Having a great time, guys. Ah! But look, this is all around town.
Right down here is the very end of the mine. That silver ladder, the silver ladder I showed you, that comes up in that little brown metal building right there.
Okay.
So right below us is the end. All of this is fill out of the mine.
Okay.
That's all been built up from the stuff that they took out of the mine.
And you said that's where that's the mine they used to
That was
discover
the hole that they drilled to find the mine. Yeah.
Yes. The hole they drilled to discover the mine down below. It's
then,
right from right there.
The shaft is in that wooden building up there. So that we're looking right due west, right over the mine.
Sweet.
We were right down there, right down there.
We're in the mine right below us right now. Where we were in the
And
mine.
we were right down here too. The mine goes right through there.
So the mine goes right through there. And these are what they used to carry on the on using this train. They used to carry those things using this train, I believe.
All right, we're going to take a short hike.
All right.
That building.
Have a little hike.
Running late, but that's all right. That's what happens.
Having a good time, I guess. It's pretty tough. You can do it.
These lines for fresh air, they have 24/7 to pump water out of them. Water table stopped lead miners. They had no pumps. So they had this, they got their lead, every hole they dig would fill back up with water. That's the drill type that they used to find the zinc. Zinc wasn't laying on the surface like lead, because we're talking that much deeper. I really think that dates to before 1900. Wagon pulled by horses, by a steam engine that sat on another wagon connected with a belt. Somewhere along the line, they put it on an old truck bed. It looks like they found a gas station. They put a V8 on the back, the gas tank's hanging up there on the wooden frame. And it's just what they used to drill the holes. And they would drill
What
tons of
prompted
holes.
you to look for iron and zinc? I mean, it's
I
just
have
a
no
shot in
idea.
the dark. I just wonder,
Well,
why would I even think about doing it unless they saw something?
this were rebuilt this winter. They're rusty old ones before. Guys would get in here, to that work spot and then ride back at the end of the day. So I think they came out of the mine. This is a rock crusher, jaws crusher, I guess, someone's explained it. Goes back and forth and set to what they really were crushing. They were crushing that rock down to something. This is a head frame horse house, a tall skinny building over the shaft. If you worked down underground, you had to come here to go to work. You, in the early days, they were wood like this, mostly replaced by metal. These are fire hazards, and first were wood, and later on they're going to steel I-beams and tin sheet.
Right.
You would concrete the top, because the top of the soil is loose and crumbly, so you put some concrete. Lead miner would put logs. And then when you get down the hard rock, it's not going to come in on it. Tools, equipment up here, heat source up here. Mine days, lost mines. This mine, they break it into three distinct categories. You got your mine, you got your mill, People digging it out, people processing it, and the whole shop that runs the whole darn business. Underground up above. Here's a picture eating lunch in 1943. These guys all have hard hats and
Pretty tough
batteries.
group.
Didn't take off their underground workers, muckers, looks like. One of these guys look like he could be a boiler man here. They're always the dirtiest. Guys that fed the boilers and stuff. They're all got dirty hands except for one guy. But they never wore gloves, working in greasy
sweet.
oil.
Thank you.
Because everything else,
Perfect.
would be rusty if you didn't have oil and grease on your
Yeah.
machines or equipment down. But I don't know how their hands ever became.
Sorry. Sorry, my hand
But you
slipped.
see how the good clothes are hanging up in the back. And they'll get out of these clothes, put on those clothes. And that's what those baskets are up here.
Oh, like
I've
each
had people
person's
come
little,
in,
sort of locker.
they said they had those baskets and clothes hanging over the register at home. Their grandfather had them. We've had generations, because we have such long mining history. Generations of the same family have worked in mines.
Wow.
There's some other smaller jackhammers. That's out of a crusher there. Yeah, the difference in, we go, like I said, from the bib overalls to rubber,
And this was more of a rubberized
that's pants.
pants, yeah.
That's what they show in this picture here. And this was a mine down by Cuba City, or by Galena, I mean. And you have your powder up here, you got the carbide that came in a big can like that to put in your, carbide is just a little, look like a lock.
Yeah, right.
You put it with water, and it creates acetylene gas.
Oh, no.
You run it through that little tight little nozzle, it just comes out, and you light that, and that's, each little chunk, they say, lasts about 4 or 5 hours. You'd have one in the morning, one
I've
in the
never heard
afternoon.
of such a thing.
That's really cool.
That's easy. It's supposed to be-
All
Wow.
right, now I guess we're done here. I'm running awfully late.
Okay. Okay. I will wait. Thank you.
Well, no problem.
We asked too many questions.
Well, like I said, this is first day back.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit to get things out.
Yep.
I was thinking to get here early, and I never do anything early.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
How did you get involved with the,
Just an interest in it.
yeah,
I'm 73 years old. I came in at 62,
Yeah.
and I've never done anything like this. Didn't have anything else to do. I thought, well, let's try this out.
yeah?
Thought about it, I really like. I like history. I like
Well,
history.
yes, that's, so do I,
And-
that's why I wanted to come.
And you can't get any more historic in Platteville than this. This is what brought the very first people right to here.
Uh-huh.
So
Where did they come from again? I know you said it earlier in the tour. The first people to get here.
they were miners that were coming from Kentucky,
Okay.
Alabama, and southeastern Missouri.
Okay.
And literally, they didn't come with wives or kids.
Yeah.
They either walked, took a longboat up the river, wagon across. Galena was established really didn't start till 1825. Once Galena got boats to come in there, that fed people into a few hundred people by 1825, 1826, a few thousand people by 1830. We're talking about the first cornfield in 1829.
Yeah.
First corn rice. Everybody before that was
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your day. You gotta go upstairs and I'm gonna see you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Check out more of this down here, the pictures and stuff.
Yep.
Is this the video they were?
All right.
There's two different ones. The one that takes you to tours like we just did, but the one on the right there, that's the very informative.
That's the one
It's
you
like
got.
25 minutes or something. But thanks again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Wow. Okay, so this is the building. And before I go, my battery's about to die. The guy who first owned, well, I had a great time. I'm sorry, I was going to talk to you about something that somebody was talking to me in my ears the entire tour about, but I am not going to do that. I had a very good time. Like I said, I came here because I wanted the experience of what it had been like to mine. I think I got it. I think I did get a good idea of what it'd be like. I think everybody should come here. I had a very good time. Yeah. What else? Yeah, dude, this mine was actually kind of fun. Trying really hard to think. Someone's making it very difficult for me to talk. I'm trying to talk to you. I can't say anything. So I'm going to leave, and my battery's died. Okay, it's not dead yet. All right. So what happened? Everything's pretty cool. Wait, that's dumb. Why am I saying that? The tour was here's some of the things that are here. So, some of the stuff here is this stuff. And I think this is a gas, something, carboxide absorbent. It's the Boral gas mask, GM series. And this is the MSA Chemox. Someone just said Chemox. Oxygen breathing apparatus. Yeah, man. Oh, he said this was for lead. Lead molds. So once they separated the lead, they grab it with those, pour them in here, and then they would put their names on them. Smelting. Someone said smelting. These are the tools that miners used to do their work. Very important tools. I'm sure if they didn't have these tools, they wouldn't be able to do the work of a miner. It's like going to school, right? If you don't have the tools to go to school, you wouldn't be able to go to school, right? Or do very well in school. And Todd Hall is telling me, or somebody's imagining in my flashing images, that if you want to keep up, you have to find a way. So no one's going to give you help in society to keep up in school. It's your job to find a way to get school supplies without stopping anyone else from doing that. So they're literally, they're saying traction. Find your own traction to get school supplies while you're in school, in high school, and not wait 20 years to get money from working to go to school. So I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know how teenagers are going to find a way to produce school supplies without working. And if you have 8 hours of school, you catch the bus everywhere, it's going to be very hard for a teenager to catch the bus, go to work, and come home and still be able to manage going to school. But anyways, so these people are ridiculing me. They're telling me that it was I was the person who was supposed to I was supposed to go to school. Take care of myself from the day I was born. And if I couldn't, I was supposed to find someone. And the only people at the time who were trying to help me were individuals in the gay community. So, pedophiles. The only people in my life that were willing to supply me with, give me the things I needed for life, were pedophiles. So, I chose not to allow pedophiles to have sex with me for money, or for food, or for school supplies. And that's why I was so far behind in life. And they're accusing me of this saying in my ears, that's your fault.